السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين، والصلاة والسلام على المبعوث رحمة للعالمين. اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد وعلى آل سيدنا محمد وبارك وسلم. وقال عليه الصلاة والسلام: كل ولد يولد على الإسلام، يعني يولد على الفطرة، فأبواه يهودانه وينصرانه ويمجسانه. وقال النبي صلى الله تعالى عليه وسلم: الصلاة عماد الدين. وقال عليه الصلاة والسلام: أحب الأعمال إلى الله أدومها وإن قل. وقال عليه الصلاة والسلام: إنما الأعمال بالنيات. وقال عليه الصلاة والسلام في الحديث القدسي: إن قلوب بني آدم كلها بين إصبعين من أصابع الرحمن يقلبهما كيف يشاء. عبد الله بن عمرو بن العاص يقول أنه سمع رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم: إن قلوب بني آدم كلها بين إصبعين من أصابع الرحمن يقلبهما كيف يشاء. كقلب واحد يصرفه حيث يشاء. ثم قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم الدعاء: اللهم مصرف القلوب صرف قلوبنا على طاعتك. أو كما قال النبي صلى الله تعالى عليه وسلم. Important topic that was presented and nasiha from our beloved Imam, as well as the admin and the responsible individuals, was responsibility and preserving the children, the youth of the future generation. I think this is a very important, pertinent topic, and this is a very sensitive topic. So it requires our time, our attention, our patience, and our sensitivity towards that topic. So I would request, with utmost love and sincerity, give it some time, inshallah. It's very important to give it some time. Completion of the religion, perfection of the religion, and itmam of the religion, Allah already mentioned this. The Sahaba were told that the completion of the religion took place, right? The ayat completed the Quran, and we as Muslims, what is left now is ittiba'. Ittiba' is not left of the beautiful verses of Allah Azza wa Jal and the completion of the religion. So one verse that I thought about today is very important. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is asking us, O believers, آمنوا وادخلوا في السلم كافة. He says, enter into Islam في السلم كافة. Kaffa is something that is a huge magnitude, something that is not small portions. I take a little bit, I leave a little bit, I take a little bit, or I take some now, I take some later, I take some later. Rather, whatever the message is, whatever the way of the Prophet is, he says, completely enter into Islam wholeheartedly, all of it, with purity, and then the abundance of the khair that Allah blesses you with, because you took everything that Allah Azza wa Jal has to offer. And you took everything that the Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam taught us. So Allah Azza wa Jal uniforms the mind and the heart and the ruh. The mind is in the control of Allah, the ruh is in the control of Allah, it will go back after its appointed time, and the heart, which is the most important organ, is also in the control of Allah Azza wa Jal. So it says, completely enter into Islam wholeheartedly, the way my Sahaba did. وَلَا تَتَّبِعُوا خُطُوَاتِ الشَّيْطَانِ. And do not do ittiba' of the tricks, the ups and downs, and the traps that he has. Just like we want to catch a mouse, we have a trap set up for it. So poor mouse is coming and looking for its food, does not know when it's time to go, when it's going to be jammed in the dark. So do not fall into the traps that shaitan has laid down for you everywhere. This is what the Quran says. Why is that? If we have weak iman, Allah says, because إِنَّهُ لَكُمْ عَدُوٌ مُبِينٌ. He is an enemy for you. He doesn't want anything good for you. And he is planning completely so that you go into Jahannam with him. May Allah save us from that. That will be the ultimate torment, the ultimate destruction, and the ultimate adab that a person will accompany shaitan in Jahannam because he followed shaitan as a leader. May Allah save us and save our children from that in the future. If we think about the importance of this ayah, Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam is using this ayah at the time that the Muslim male and female are getting married. He's using this verse at the time of khutbah. When someone passes away, he's using the same verse. And some important gathering takes place, he's using the same verse. Ittaqullah, believers come close to Allah, fear Him, and fulfill His right. Do not leave this life until you have submitted your will to the will of the Creator of the heavens and the earth. You don't leave this life following your own self, your own nafs, or following the footsteps of shaitan. Rather, recognize the Creator is there. So it cannot be done out of nowhere. So we know there's a Creator, and we have to take care of what the Creator is asking from us. Hatta tuqatihi. Fulfill His right, take care of it. And Allah Azza wa Jal is the one who has given us life. Allah is the one that's going to take our life away. الَّذِي خَلَقَ الْمَوْتِ وَالْحَيَاةِ. The way Quran is so beautiful, it's so munawwar, Allahu Akbar. It says maut and hayat are both creations of Allah. It's not like zindagi is something that we have, and all of a sudden we have no idea. But Allah is saying, maut is also my creation. I created maut to make you disappear. I created maut because that's going to happen. It's the truth. كُلُّ نَفْسٍ ذَائِقَةُ الْمَوْتِ. It's going to happen no matter what. But the beautiful thing here, when he says, وَلَا تَمُوتُنَّ إِلَّا وَأَنْتُمْ مُسْلِمُونَ, that there's questions that arise from this verse. Do not leave, do not die, do not diminish until you become Muslim. What does this mean? Do not leave this world until you have accepted my message, until you have recognized my greatness, until you have become amongst the mashkura, amongst the people who are shakirin, the thankful ones. So how can we do that? I ask myself the question. I point my finger to myself. How can I do that if I don't know who Allah is? If I don't know what Allah is doing for me? If I don't know how much I should be thankful to Allah? If I don't know that, how can I be thankful to my Creator? وَلَا تَمُوتُنَّ إِلَّا وَأَنْتُمْ مُسْلِمُونَ. Next one, إِنَّ اللَّهَ يَغْفِرُ الذُّنُوبَ جَمِيعًا. This is a verse that is giving us Muslims, people who are married, people who are not married, people who are married and are having children, our grandparents. This is a beautiful verse for all of us that is giving us hope in future, moving forward. We always need to, they say that this whole dunya is qa'im, is based on the basis of hope, right? There's a good proverb or saying in Urdu, it's slipping my mind right now. Umeed ki dunya par dunya qa'im hai, right? So we're not the ones who created the world, we're not the ones who are the superpower, we're not the ones who are inventing things, but rather we have good hope that we're going to benefit from this, we're going to be successful, we're going to be there for our family, we're going to make a difference in society, so many things that we have planned for us. So that's called hope. But Allah is giving us the ultimate hope, which is the hope of akhirah, the hope of success, falah darain, success in both worlds. This is basically يَغْفِرُ الذُّنُوبَ جَمِيعًا. Allahu Akbar. A Muslim has to open his heart and see that Allah is forgiving, Allah is most merciful. Allah says He will forgive everyone and anyone. Don't think I will be stuck into my deep background and the baggage that I'm carrying. Every human being has baggage. Everyone who comes from a different background is coming with baggage. Whether it's disobedience, whether it's haram activity, whether it's disturbance in the belief, whether it's violence, whether it's oppression, dhulm in the house, whether it's jahil, ignorance, because that itself is a crime. Being jahil, not knowing your religion, is also a crime actually, because you don't know, you're just going with the flow. You have no idea, so you feel sad for these people. You feel like, how do I help them? How do I make dua for them? This is the sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ. When someone didn't know what he's doing and he's talking about, he would have mercy on him. He will say he doesn't know what he's doing. He doesn't know the truth from false. He doesn't know haqq from batil. So have mercy on them. Don't think I know everything and push them away. Rather love this person and come together so that the khayr from the heart transfers to the other person. And this is the beauty of the work of da'wah. This is the beauty of doing ud'u ila sabili rabbika bil hikmah. Call people towards Allah with ilm and hikmah and wisdom, understanding, ma'rifah, and share with them, learn from them, Don't always teach them, rather benefit from them. Because every human being has khayr and every human being has shar. So if someone says, I don't have any shar, I'm all khayr, I'm sorry, I cannot believe that. Right? I'm sorry, I would have to reevaluate that. Every human being has khayr, every human being has shar. Because this is the nature of human beings. They're created with goodness, and they also have a little bit of ups and downs. But we take the khayr, and we fill our bucket with khayr. On the day of judgment, we present in front of Allah that I have this much khayr. And this benefited me, alhamdulillah, and inshallah, I hope that will benefit our future generations. But another question beneath that, line beneath that, recognizing what is khayr. If I'm recognizing khayr as to be something else, that means the eyes of my heart has not opened. Right? They didn't mature yet. So the eyes of my heart, basirat and basar, both have to mature to the point that I see truth from falsehood. I see good from bad. I see haqq and batil. I see clearly in front of me. Then only I can benefit. When I benefit, I can benefit my children. When I don't benefit, my ears are closed. So what is the verse? Surah Al-Baqarah, Khatamullahu ala qulubihim wa sam'ihim wa absarihim. Allah put a seal in their minds, in their hearts, in their ears, in their hearing, in their seeing. Every single thing is blocked for them. Sometimes they read, they get hidayah. يُضِلُّ بِهِ كَثِيرًا وَيَهْدِي بِهِ كَثِيرًا. From the same verses, from the same ayat, from the same deen that they say, this is my kitab, this is my religion, this is my qibla, this is my nabi. I believe in Jannah and Jahannam. But some of them are getting guided, some of them are becoming misguided. Who are we? Which category do I fall in? This is the question. The beautiful thing Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam is teaching the Sahaba is that يَغْفِرُ ذُنُوبَ جَمِيعًا. Allah will forgive anyone. So do not ever think that I come with this, I don't know this, my parents didn't teach me this when I was small, it's too late, and now there's already too much damage that has been done. How can I untie and undo what has been done? But he's saying there's never too late to recognize the greatness of Allah. It's never too late to understand Quran. It's never too late to become close to the Prophet ﷺ's teachings, his ilm. Because that ilm is not just for the time of the Quraysh. That ilm came all the way until the end of the time. And Khatam al-Nabiyyin, wala Nabiyya ba'di means the message of the Prophet is also until the last. The hikmah of the Prophet will last until the last day. The ta'limat, the teachings of the Prophet ﷺ is beautified, completed, perfected until the last day. There's nothing lacking, there's nothing shortage. That I say, hey, well, he didn't think about this. He didn't think about this, so let me put my 2 cents, let me put my input in it. And Nabi ﷺ was complete. And one hadith says, I was given the knowledge from the beginning, Sayyidina Adam, until the end, right before the day of judgment. The hadith of Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, Utitu ilma al-awwalina wal-akhirin. This is the fadl, this is the karam, this is the grant of Allah Azza wa Jalla, that He's taught him every single thing that happened before. He knew the difficulties, the hardships of Sayyidina Adam, Lut, Nuh alayhi salam, Ibrahim, and Ismail, all the prophets before him. He knew every single thing, what they went through. And then he knew what was going to happen after, because Allah Azza wa Jalla granted him the knowledge, ilm al-hilm, so that he can teach the Sahaba. These will be the signs right before the day of judgment, and one by one my ummah will get into the trap. They will fall, they will keep falling. How can you save yourself? How can you pick yourself up back from that trap? This is where the ayat of the Quran come in. This is where the hadith of Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam comes in. The more we love Allah, the more we love the way of Muhammad alayhi salatu wasalam, the more Allah Azza wa Jalla opens our heart. When He opens our heart, dunya becomes really open and clear, zahir in front of us. When dunya is zahir, while living in this life, you will plan, Ya Allah, when will I meet you? I can't wait that long, I want to meet you. There's one of my sheikhs that taught me, may Allah increase him in his ilm, in his hilm, in his barakah, and give him a healthy life. His father was a Sufi, and he was a very pious man, and he used to be indulged in dhikr in his life, all the time in dhikr, Allahu Akbar. He was known as one of the mashayikh of the time in Hind. And sometimes when he's doing dhikr, but he says when he used to dhikr sometimes, because he was so close to Allah, the people who are close to Allah are known as the wali, the awliya Allah. And he's so close to Allah, when he's doing tasbih, tahmeed, takbir, tahleel, he actually feels the halawat of his dhikr in his heart. And sometimes when he's when someone mentions the word Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam on their tongue, he literally used to go out of control and he used to cry and he used to scream. Because do you know who this man was? Do you know how much we love this man and how much we can benefit from this man, from this personality? So people of the past, the Akabirin, the elders and the scholars from the past, they talked about the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. The Anbiya talked about the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, that there will be a man. There was a Yehudi woman and the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. I'm sidetracking because something interesting is coming to my mind. This Yehudi woman, when she saw the baby, Muhammad alayhi salatu wasalam, the Nur of Muhammad, the Nur of Nubuwwah, and she knew that this is the son that will come into the family of Quraysh. And the father will be named Abdullah, the mother will be named Amina. And he will be protected, preserved, and Allah Azza wa Jalla will be looking after him. So she saw that small baby, wherever he goes, there's a cloud following the baby. Wherever he goes, there's a cloud constantly not leaving the sight. So she said that we were waiting for this, and we knew that this is going to be that same Nabi al-Arabi, Nabi al-Ummi. And because she said she had so much love and so much muhabba for this child, she said if the elders and the akabir and the people who are waiting for him, if they find him, get a hold of him, they will not let him go, they will not spare him. So preserve him, take care of him, and hide him, and leave as soon as possible, get out of here. Because this is the same Nabi that is the last messenger. He's going to grow, and when he comes to the age of 40, Allah will bless him with nubuwwah. And this is the same signs that the people of other religion knew who Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam was, even before coming and before his wilada takes place into this world. Human beings sometimes they think in this life that I don't have good friends, or I'm in a bad association, and how do I fix myself? The mess that I got myself into, how do I fix myself? And which direction do I go? How do my parents help me? Because I don't learn much or I don't benefit much from my parents, they're just ordinary people. And I need an example, I need someone that I can look up to and to live and please Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah Azza wa Jal is giving us many verses of hope that are connected, I think, to this. Every human being, when he's born into the religion, he is born with a pure nature. He's born into the fitrah of Islam. And then their elders, their fathers, their forefathers, the people who are taking care of the child, they are teaching him what is good, what is bad. So on the basis of their religion, whether they're Yehudi, they're Nasrani, they're Majusi, they're atheists, they're devil worshippers, idol worshippers, whoever they are, Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, they make a big impact on that child in his life. So the responsibility here is coming on the shoulders of the father, the mother, the elders of the family, as to how we live and how close we are to Allah Azza wa Jalla. How much do we want to learn the deen of Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam? How do I want to be sincere with my Creator? The more I am open-minded and the more sincerity I have in my a'mal and in my deen, how do I want to live my life? Do I want to live my life according to the way Allah wants me to live my life? This is known as a Rabbi Shahi Zindagi. Do I want to live my life according to the way I want to? This is known as a Man Shahi Zindagi. So there's two options. All the time we have two options. So the way Allah wants me to live is the way I want to live. And inshallah, Allah will put barakah and Allah will make every door easy for me. And inshallah, I will be an example for my children. The difficulties that they're facing in this is all an effect, this is all a connection, direct effect of our a'mal that we have done in our past. Allah Azza wa Jalla is not unjust. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala does not do injustice with the ummah of Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam in general, with makhluk. He says, on the basis of your a'mal, we have seen the results of what happens. The masjid is the center part of the Muslim community. The center part. So anyone and everyone who's connected to the masjid, they come and they benefit from the ulum of the masjid, from the great programs and the opportunities that we have. If I come to the masjid once in a blue moon, then I come back maybe when there's some dinner, potluck, or some program, or some iftar, or something like that, or just to chit chat, have a good time, which is perfectly okay, which a Muslim community should get together for that regard. But at the same time, am I connected to the point that I feel that my heart as a Muslim should be connected to the house of Allah? My heart should be attached and glued to the house of Allah, because this is where the malaika are descending. This is where salat is being recited. So instead of me praying at home alone, I can come to the masjid and pray and make a bigger jama'ah. The bigger the jama'ah, the reward that we have, 27 times more. And our du'as are accepted. Our children will keep getting benefit and connection to the masjid, which will be, inshallah, a source of great benefit and khair. The more small things that we do, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala opens the doors based on our actions, our efforts, our mehnat and sincerity. Allah Azza wa Jal grants us on the same token, on the same ability. Every single one of us, as a Muslim, all background, mashallah, so much diversity I see just right here in this small gathering. Every single one of us, wherever we're coming from, if we migrated into this country, and most of us did, right? I'm just putting a question out there, but most of us did migrate for the sake of better life, for the sake of better, good opportunity. Correct, Imam? Correct me if I'm saying something incorrect. Right? We have dhulm, we have depression, we have hardships, we have low opportunity, we don't have too much opportunity to move forward and advance, and all of these things, and we want to have a more better life. We want to make a decent living. We want to see our children prosper and move forward. In whichever capacity we see it, our mind shows us, but we want to do that. So all of our parents from India and Pakistan and Gujarat and Bangladesh and the Middle East, East Africa, Europe, wherever we came from, we're coming together for the sake of betterment, for the sake of living a good life, for the sake of equal opportunity, right? It has open concept, open understanding, and no one is pressuring you. It's not Darul Harb, but rather it's Darul Aman, right? You be good, you pay your taxes, nobody bothers you. So he says, on the basis of what your intention is, because intention is based, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows that. All actions are based on their intention. So إِنَّمَا الْأَعْمَالُ بِالنِّيَّاتِ, on the basis of what I came into this country, this is how I plan to live. If my intention to migrate into this country, I want to live my life like a servant of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I don't want to hide, I don't want to shy down, and I want to be a proud Muslim. Walk, talk to people, travel, and be proud to be a Muslim. Don't be scared to be a Muslim. Don't shy down to be a Muslim. And there's three categories here. The one who is proud to be a Muslim, he will look into the religion of Islam, and he will be well acquainted, and he will present Islam in a beautiful forefront. He will present it in the beautiful manner, the way the Prophet ﷺ used to present it. But the ones who don't want to study Islam, they don't want to know anything because they've already made their mind that this is not going to work for me. I've already selected this, it's not going to work for me, so therefore, whatever's happening, just let it blend, just let it flow, and it's happening. So if I have an intention that I am living here so that I can live on the principles of my deen that Muhammad ﷺ taught me, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has blessed me with, and value what we have, right? Our deen, our iman is a gem. Our way of the Prophet ﷺ is a gem. The Quran Kareem is precious. Salah is precious. This is what Islam and Muslims get help from. And we as Muslims, as adults, individuals, mature people, if we don't understand why we are Muslims, how to be Muslims, then we cannot be good examples to our innocent children who are born and raised in front of us, and all types of issues they fall into. That's the time we as Muslims run to the Shaykh, the Imam, or whoever, or we call around, nationwide, and see what we can do now because we have this situation and we need to deal with it. And as soon as we deal with it, we're going to put it away, and then keep living the way we are living now. And then when something else happens, then we'll say, well, how should we take care of this? So the problem, if you reverse, and if you go back and say, what am I living according to the principles Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants me to? Did I sacrifice my identity of a Muslim? Do I know who I am myself inside? Or am I just living here because I just want to blend in? Every part of the country, there's a different flavor. The hawaf is up, what is that? You get a different feeling. So there might be some benefit, but there's something that's a challenge for them. There might be deen in some places, but there might be maybe too much cold, or maybe it's too much snow there. And there might be a warm, beautiful climate with everything nice, the scenery is beautiful, but they might have some other issues into practices, into ta'lim, this, that, whatever. We have to think and say, what is best for us? On the basis of that, how can I fix? What's the difference of the Islamic way and the Western way? The Western way, we already know that. We see that. The fitna that is in front of us on TV, when we go, how they market their stuff, what they're using, all the inappropriate things that they're using so that they can make their market. They can move forward in what they need to do. We as Muslims, we know there's a filter. We cannot eat everything. We cannot see everything. We cannot dwell in everything. We cannot mingle with everything. We cannot behave however we want. There's so many things that we as Muslims have to think about, yeah, how can I carry on my life, also be a Muslim, also pray, but at the same time not get affected and drift into the Western way and forget who I am and disappoint my parents because they work so hard for me. If I disappoint them, I'm going to make them really sad and upset. They had a vision, they had a view for me, they worked hard for me, but how do I make them proud of myself? But at the same time, how do I help myself and be an ummah of Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam that I can actually teach my friends. If someone needs help, I can actually learn and be well acquainted and actually be a source of help for my brother. Someone who is suffering, someone who is in difficulty, facing the religion. Cultural disconnect that we have sometimes from our religion, the cultural disconnect. What does this mean exactly? The way our elders, our fathers, grandfathers, people of the past, their taqwa, their ilm, their ma'rifah, their understanding, the way they used to understand Islam and follow Islam with their hearts, every single generation, the way we're passing and getting close to the akhirah, it's diluted and getting more and more washed away. Am I correct? Cultural disconnect is a very important thing. When we have our differences, sometimes we forget our culture, where we come from, and sometimes there's benefit. But sometimes it overtakes so much that the culture becomes ghalib, and Islam and Deen becomes mawlud. But there's Islamic culture, and then there's our background culture. For example, a person comes from Afghanistan, or he comes from Turkey. There's a culture, how they marry, how they eat, how they travel, how they interact, and then there's an Islamic culture. If it's going in accordance with the line of Islamic culture, wonderful, nurun ala nur. But if it's going against the culture and against the way, then we have to give priority to the Islamic culture, and then leave everything else beside. This is all going with blending into the culture and the environment. Colleges and schools that we go to here, 95%, just asked a few brothers, they said 95% are non-Muslims, right? And few of them are people who believe in the oneness of God. People who, maybe they might be Muslims by name, maybe they're shy to make wudu, maybe they're shy to pray salah, maybe they're shy to even talk about Allah there. But even if you count every single one of them, there's hardly 5%. So now you know that I have to blend in. But blending in is fine, but how can I differentiate and filter myself that I don't blend in too much that it corrupts my iman? This is called grounding. This is called grounding, having a base, having a foundation. This starts from the house. This starts from the house, and the mom and the dad, this is the first madrasa. The lap of the mother is the first madrasa, how to take care of that child. But when the mother herself doesn't know what deen is, but let's come together and put our minds and hearts together and say we're Muslims too. How can we love Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? All the money, all the wealth, and our salahiyat, our skill set, our talent, experience, how can we utilize this to serve the deen of Allah Azza wa Jal as well, and enjoy our life as well? But if we enjoy too much, then sometimes shaitan deceives us and we forget the akhirah. To keep our eyes open for the akhirah, at the same time fulfill our responsibility here. So this is a very, very fine line, and there's a lot of temptation around this. So because of that, it becomes complicated. And then the constant social media affects confusion versus right and wrong. Even the ones who are coming into the religion, well, this person said this, well, this person said this, there's so many different opinions. And so I take the one, this is easy and this is understanding to me, and everything else I put aside. So this is also something that is a little difficult for us in our religion, to stay with mustaqim, to establish iman with istiqamah. Renewing our intentions to live actually into this country. There's some ulama that I have heard from and I have read from. If you are here for the wrong intentions, your intention is not right, meaning you are here only to earn money. You are here only to do what you need to do, and you have no intention to establish Islam, establish Deen, and to establish yourselves and become a true obedient servant to God, then you should recheck your intention. And sometimes they say it's not jaiz to stay because something else is overtaking your own internal belief, your own internal feeling as a believer. So this is something that we need to constantly renew our intentions. The most important thing is إِنَّمَا الْأَعْمَالُ بِالنِّيَّاتِ. There's another longer hadith, but I'll skip that for now. Every single amal khair that we do in our lives, for the sake of da'wah purposes, whether it's interfaith, whether it's calling non-Muslims to the masjid in the community, publicizing it, and inviting all of your co-workers, inviting all of your neighbors in your neighborhood and the masjid neighborhood, and say we're going to have an open dialogue, we're going to have an open day, and Imam will teach Islam 101. Alhamdulillah, I've done that before. Basics only, the 5 pillars of Islam. What do they mean? And maybe a small summary of Surah Al-Fatiha. It is so jamia, the Surah Al-Fatiha, it comprises of every single thing. And just explain that, and you see how much support you get yourselves. And then our children who are falling back and forth, they themselves will wake up, yeah, these guys, subhanAllah, they're coming from somewhere else. Allah is giving them the inspiration, and Allah Azza wa Jalla is opening their mind, their hearts, and they're accepting the true oneness of God. And what should we do? How should we be involved? So the people who are sleeping on sleep mode, they will wake up as well. And the people who are a little groggy and a little bit drowsy, they will also attend. Everyone will benefit from that. And the people who are, inshallah, responsible, they will get the best jaza, because they will become a source of sadaqah jariyah that will carry on in the future. By one gathering like that, maybe inviting 500 people and giving them, from Helping Hand and from, what is that organization that passes out Qur'ans and CDs? You can order those and have some treats, maybe have some lunch with them. This is a great opportunity for us to actually work on da'wah and come to the masjid and be connected to the house of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I know the brothers are waiting for questions. Inshallah, with that, I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to help myself, help all of us, inshallah, live ourselves and die as Muslims. Muslim does not mean the one who is extremist. Please excuse me, I want to clarify this. But Muslim is the one who submits his will to the will of the Creator. Okay, so people who are sometimes not close to Islam, they think, if I become Muslim, I might become extreme. If I become Muslim, then people might not accept me anymore. People might think I'm an outcast or some type of a weirdo or dropped from the sky like an alien. But a Muslim is the one who is submitting his will to the will of the Creator. He has a choice. Should I miss my salah? Should I make my salah? He has a choice. Should I pick up haram or should I pick up halal? He has a choice. Should I interact with the haram interactions, or should I save myself from the fitna and from the a'mal of shaitan? Every human being has an option of that. Every human being. So this is something that we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to help us. Because if it's not the help of Allah, we cannot be guided ourselves. It's not our parents that can guide us. It's not the imam that can guide us. Guidance is only in the hands of Allah. It comes from the khazana of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Human beings become sabab and musabbab. They become means that this person helped me, this person opened my eyes, mashallah, he brought me to the masjid, and alhamdulillah, I learned so much. So we become means, we cannot become the ones who are guiding. Allah is the guide, and we ask Allah for His guidance ultimately until the last day. Say Ameen, Ya Rabbal Alameen. You can start. Sisters as well, any questions? Please ask openly. Please. Sure.
The stamp I put on my head is a Roman Catholic. But from what I've understood from your discussions and the other, everything you said, I accept. It's right in my everything. And from what you said with others, yes, I am a Muslim.
Allahu Akbar. Subhanallah. Allahu Akbar.
And the only slight distinction, and it's slight from one aspect, but great from other, I accept Jesus not just as a prophet, I accept him as God in flesh. That's the big difference.
May Allah guide us all. May Allah will guide us and open the reality of the truth. Yes. Right? I would say one piece of advice. Are you complete with your statement? Or?
I've got one question.
Go ahead.
How can I get a DVD of your presentation? I'd like to share it with my family.
Okay, mashallah. Maybe you can communicate with the individual brother who took that, inshallah. He just stepped out to get some water. Jazakumullah. To your statement, what I would say, with my limited understanding and knowledge, I would say, do not be so hasty come into a conclusion, rather have an open heart, an unbiased heart, every day before you go to sleep. I said this to many other non-believers that I met before. Every day before you go to sleep, raise your hands with a sincere mind and a heart. Not where you come from, not what you think is right. Rather, God, you are the truth. You are the ultimate truth. Show me what the truth is. You are the ultimate truth. Show me and guide my heart towards the ultimate truth. And the path that you want me to follow. The path that you want me to follow.
I agree.
With your sincerity of the heart, without being biased. One day or the other, it will be 1 day, 1 week, 1 month, maybe 1 year. One day will come, inspiration will come from God because the heart is sincere. When he's asking, God does not turn him away. Is it possible that he's asking the Creator for the truth and God turns him away? Is it possible? No. It's not possible. This is against the belief of a Muslim that God will turn you away. That's not. All the verses that I quoted, every single verse of them is all pointing in the direction of mercy and hope from God, forgiveness from God. So it will never be possible. So always make a dua sincerely that God guide me on the right path, the path that you want me to, the ones you bestowed your favor upon in the past, not the ones who went astray. You'll do that inshallah from today?
Yes.
Okay, excellent. MashaAllah. Barakallah. May Allah bless you, bless your family. MashaAllah.
Parents can start asking questions.
Yes.
Yeah, my daughter actually asked me one question.
The brothers who are leaving as well, I'm sure you're an important part of the community. I'm sure many things come in your mind. So take the opportunity, benefit from that, and inshallah, open the discussion.
Brother Azim, actually recently my daughter asked me a question. It was from like just the beginning of Surah Baqarah, and it is regarding like Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has put like locks on the heart of the people actually. So she questioned like if it is pre-decided, then how come we say that like, because if Allah already decided like who's going to be the good person or who's the bad person. I can read that ayah, you know.
I think I know where you're going with this question.
Ya inna allazina kafaru sawa'un alayhim anzartahum am lam tunzir la yu'minun khatama Allahu ala qulubihim wa ala sam'ihim wa ala absarihim ghishawatun wa lahum azabun azim. So she was questioning me like if it has already been decided that like then how can we differentiate who is going to be selecting good or who's going to be selecting bad?
The important aspect to understand is the one who believes in God is the one who is a believer. And Allah Azza wa Jalla gives him on the basis of that amal salihah. But the one who's rejecting every single thing that he's seeing, after a certain time, of many times guidance given to him, hidayah is coming towards him, good people are giving around him, but he still doesn't accept. To the point that he becomes, what is the right thing, Imam? He becomes
Stubborn?
Yeah, stubborn, and Sayyidina Musa ﷺ's people behave like this. Hope that answers the question.
Can I comment something?
Of course, of course.
Actually, this ayah, this is an important ayah, but very important what Imam AZIMUDDIN said. Very important, recite their first ayats, what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant the mu'mineen, the believers, and how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will punish the kuffar. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala speak about believer and disbeliever. And this believer and disbeliever, Sheikh Imam AZIMUDDIN, he said that Allah give us choose if you be a believer or disbeliever. When give you mind, when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, هَدَيْنَاهُ النَّجْدَيْنِ, Allah give us mind and thinking of the Creator. And subhanallah, this means, do not say, oh, if Allah will put me in, created me as a kafir. No, because the nature thing, Allah created a human being as a believer. When created Adam, the first human being, he created him as a believer. But when the problem with Satan in the paradise, And Satan did not prostrate to Sayyidina Adam alayhi salam. What he said? He said, لَأَغْوِيَنَّهُمْ أَجْمَعِينَ إِلَّا عِبَادَكَ مِنْهُمُ الْمُخْلَصِينَ. This means Allah give all human beings choose the straight path. Jazakallah khair. Thank you.
Thank you so much for the extra tashdeed and the hasha.
I think whether Nasrum's daughter wanted to know that if it is already been tested, right?
Yeah,
that was her question.
Yeah, but I think he answered like, those are the people who were told again and again, just like you mentioned. And then Allah says, don't worry about those people, leave them.
Yeah,
because
they choose already their way.
There's few things that come to my mind, maybe some ahadith and Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam in support to this. Allah Azza wa Jal, in one hadith it says, إِنَّ اللَّهَ عَدْلٌ وَيُحِبُّ الْعَدْلِ. Allah is just and He loves justice. He always does justice. So if He's not just, do you understand where I'm going with this? If He's not just, He didn't give somebody the opportunity even to recognize who He is. He didn't give the opportunity to say that He's one and only. So there's always an opportunity that is brought to us, and the word of Islam and Tawheed and the oneness of God is always given to us. Always. It's our choice. Do we believe or do we disbelieve? Inshallah.
Because same question about how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will punish disbeliever in the hell or in the fire. And with His name, the most merciful.
Yes.
How He is the most merciful and punishment His who disbeliever in the hell. This something Shaitan come to our mind and make a problem in this thing and say a lot of questions. And this is we need teach our youth, our community, our parents how believe in Allah 100%.
Yes. And one, I think, important verse that also maybe add on to that, I did not translate this before. إِنَّ اللَّهَ لَا يَغْفِرُ أَن يُشْرَكَ بِهِ وَيَغْفِرُ مَا دُونَ ذَلِكَ لِمَن يَشَاءُ. Please forgive me if somebody misunderstands this. Allah will not forgive those who have done shirk. The people who know what shirk is, we know exactly what that means. If they did shirk directly, with full ilm, full understanding, full confidence, Allah will not forgive them. There's no room for forgiveness. وَيَغْفِرُ, hope, listen to the hope, benefit from the hope. He says, وَيَغْفِرُ مَا دُونَ ذَلِكَ لِمَن يَشَاءُ. Everything around that, everything other than that, small or big, nothing is mentioned. Deep sin, small sin. Previous sin, current sin, future sin, nothing is mentioned. Anything other than shirk, all wiped out. One sincere dua, nadama, tears coming from the eyes, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He says, غَفَرْتُ لَكَ وَلَا أُبَالِي. He will wipe it, He will not look back towards it. This is the beauty, this is the mercy. Yes, the man is wondering here, wow, that's really true? Yes, that is true, my brother. That is true. If we know that this is Islam, the beauty of Islam, you can always come close to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. There's never a chance to come. Sometimes Shaitan tells us, Yar, I did too many bad things in my life. Yar, it's not going to work for me. Things are not working out. This is Shaitan disturbing you in your mind. This is Shaitan because he knows this guy has means, this guy has some good people he's connected to, and he's going to get guidance pretty soon. So he keeps messing up your mind. He's destroying the wires in your brain, and he's telling you you're not going to be forgiven, and you're just going to go deeper and deeper, when that is not correct. Any day, any time that we as a Muslim, we as a believer, we believe that Allah Azza wa Jalla is the greatest and Allah is the most forgiving. Right? The best example ulama use here is because the connection, the bond the mother and the child has. Every single thing the mother sacrifices herself for the betterment, the happiness, the health, and just to bring a smile on the baby. Just to see that the baby is comfortable. I will give my sacrifice, my aram, my sleep, my clothes. If it's cold, give them my jacket. If I'm cold, it's okay. So this is the love, the connection Allah put from in makhluk to the baby child. Allah Azza wa Jalla is saying that He has far more greater, 70 times for a human mind to understand the greatness and the love. He cannot put a number, He cannot multiply. He said 70 times more greater, maybe even more greater, than what a mom can even show the love to the child. So the one who, like I say the same thing that Imam is mentioning, reiterating, so much love and mercy and forgiveness, why will he misguide you for absolutely no reason? Why would he want you to suffer? That means he's giving you guidance, he's giving you many, many ways, but because we don't see it, sometimes we miss it. That's what it is. Any other questions?
I just have a, just to understand, if Allah has written who's good, who's bad, what's my point to be good or bad? If it's all written by Allah, what can I do about it? So we asked a scholar one time in Pakistan, and I think I got the answer straight, at least from him.
Mm-hmm.
He said guidance is the most important thing, the biggest reward that Allah can give to anyone. And Allah is very just. It would be very unjust that Allah gives guidance to someone and doesn't give it to anyone. He has to give it to everyone. But guidance is for those who seek for it. Guidance is not cheap, guidance is not free. It is for those hearts who seek for guidance.
Yes.
Allah will not give the guidance to one who does not even want to have it. And how do we know who can have it or who will not have it? Is those who look for it. So we get a choice. We come from home from school and we open the computer, suddenly something pops up, we can ignore it or we can go for it. That's the choice we make. If we are truly guided and if we want the guidance, we will close that computer screen and say Astaghfirullah and do not act upon it. So the guidance for the young people, I would ask that don't think that it is written and that's what's going to happen. You have to seek for it. Like the knowledge and the education, you go to school, you look for education. All the kids go to school, some are very successful, some are not successful. Those who don't study hard, they are unsuccessful. Allah's principles are straight. The physics of this world is straight. It works on rules and on those principles. And I think somewhere in Quran it says Allah does not change His rules and does not change His principles. So the rules are very clear. If you seek for Allah's guidance, you'll get it, no matter where you are, who you are, and where you come from.
Yes.
But if you don't look for Allah's guidance, don't blame Allah that I was not guided, because you did not look for it.
Yes.
Thank you.
I agree 100%.
Even the Quran says on multiple occasions, like the signs are for the intelligent people actually. For Nasihat walon ke liye, the indications are for the intelligent people. So basically it's already defining, for a stupid person, he's not going to see anything. So these are the signs, he's already showing it, but for intelligent people, so he already differentiated between that.
But ignorant people not stupid.
Yeah,
you're
right.
That's a more profound way.
Thank you for correction. Thank you.
But the confusion is again the same thing. Many kids, they have this question. Taqdeer is already written. So how can Allah will hold you responsible for your actions? That is the main question. Seeking guidance, that is everything different. What is the answer to that question? And the best, the answer that I got to, even I was confused with that, very much.
This is a very confusing question.
It's a very confusing question. Yes. And I cried for that, literally. Not trying to show up, but. So I was really confused. I said, no, you have to tell me the answer. So then Allah opened, in my heart. So this is how I understood that. And that made me satisfied actually. Allah is all-knowing. And what Allah has asked the pen to write down, He knew when He was making Latif, He was making Nasrum, what He is going to do. It is not that what He has written that is what is happening. Before the creation, He knew everything what is going to happen. That is what actually is written in the Taqdeer. So we are actually making a choice now. That makes a better sense to me than if you tell somebody that Allah has already written the script and you are just acting in that script. Then Allah cannot hold you responsible for that.
So I think I have a little bit different explanation. I'm not a scholar. I have to apologize if I say something wrong. You have not seen Taqdeer. I have not seen Taqdeer. Nobody knows what Taqdeer is. It is something we will see when we go to that point. So let's say I take a start from point A to point B, and at point B I have to either take a right turn or a left turn. It is my choice because it doesn't make any sense to be in this world if I don't, let me finish. It doesn't make any sense if I have to live by a rule that Allah has written that this is where I'm going to be. What's my point of choice then? It's unjust just by thinking about it. So when I get to point B, I have a choice to turn either right or left. Allah has written, in my opinion, the taqdeer, if I turn right, this is where I will end up. If I turn left, this is where I will go. This is how it has to be, in my opinion. Otherwise, it doesn't make sense for us to be in this world.
So what you're saying is right. For example, you have two choices, whether you have to go to the A point or B point, right? That Allah knew before even creating Adam alayhi salam that Rizwan is going to make this choice. He will be given a choice and he's either going to take or B. Allah knew before even making Adam alayhi salam, right? So that is what he has to write it down. Yeah. Whatever he has it in his knowledge, he has written it down because he knew what Rizwan is going to make a choice.
No, I think it's very easy to answer this question. If you focus on the Quran, you will find a lot of answer about your question about the qadar, and because you know we believe in the faith of qadar is the fifth pillar in our faith, in iman. Okay, al-iman bil qadari khayrihi wa sharrihi. Khair and shar, Allah created khair and shar, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told us many times, don't follow the shaitan. The shaitan, his way is shar. Okay? Make us, this is the qadar upon us when we choose the straight path. Okay? And when we do not follow the straight path, this means we'll follow the shaitan. And the way of shaitan is shar. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, this means you choose your qadar. With Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala command you and forbidden you about good deed and bad deed.
That is right. That is what I'm saying. That is what is written by the pen. What you choose is already, Allah knew it before making us. So that is what is written in the qadar.
But with that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give you choose.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay?
Plus it also depends on your response, how you respond. Like an example, Sayyid Abdul Qadir Jilani Rahmatullah was sitting and somebody tells him, oh, your ship was drowned. He said, Alhamdulillah. Somebody tells, oh, sorry, it's a wrong news. Your ship is still good. He said, Alhamdulillah. People asked him, why did you say Alhamdulillah? He said, everything belongs to Allah. So it doesn't matter. So one person told me one time in Pakistan, he said, how do you test that you are on the right path? Very simple. So if you get a good news, you got into medical school or you're going into good residency program and you start praying more, that means you're getting closer to Allah. That's a gift from Allah. But if you go to residency program or you get to medical school and you're staying away from Allah and you start disbelieving in Allah, and that's a punishment from Allah. If you get sick and you get close to Allah, that's a benefit from Allah. Allah wants you to get closer to Him. But if you get sick and you start saying bad things, so one of them it's my bad thing and this person did it to me, Allah does not want you to do that. That's a wrong thing to do. So there's two things. Number one is your choice, whichever you go, and number two, how you respond to that. If you respond to Allah by thanking Him for whatever He has given you, then you're fine no matter what condition you're in, no matter what the deal you have selected.
Alhamdulillah. Barakallah. May Allah reward Brother Abdul Latif. And what's your beautiful name?
Brother Rizwan.
Brother Rizwan.
I think Muhammad has
I'm trying to move on, inshallah, so we can give other people an opportunity. So utilize the youth while they're here. These questions of taqdeer, sometimes, the last thing I'll mention, and we'll move forward quickly. These sometimes things, you need more time and more patience, more ilm, and tadabbur in that. Sometimes the Sahaba asked too many of these questions. The Prophet ﷺ said, take what I'm giving you, don't get too much into that, because sometimes shaitan will come and create confusion and say, everything's already written, what's the point of doing this? And this is exactly what sometimes we face and we experience. So sometimes guidance is given to you, and take the khair from that. And know that there's no injustice happening from Allah towards you, inshallah. I think that will be sufficient for now, and we can carry on. Brother, please.
Alright, so I was going to say about that,
What's your name, brother?
Muhammad. About that topic is that, like, you should just believe that there's always, like, room to change and you can always be better. Because if you're going in that direction where, like, everything is destined and there's nothing you can do to, like, change yourself, you're just going straight to, like, doom.
Yes.
But with the mindset that you can always change, you have a chance of, like, actually, like succeeding.
Yes.
And same with, like, when I meet, like, an atheist person or something like that, or agnostic even, I tell them, like, I ask them, like, so why aren't you part of a religion? They're like, oh, I just don't believe in it. And then, like, they're like, I don't believe in, like, the heaven, hell stuff. And I was like, so say, like, you don't believe in God, then that's a 0% chance of you, like, going to heaven and 100% chance of you going to hell if it exists. But if you do believe in, like, a religion, you have a 50-50 chance of going to hell or heaven. So why would you not, like, at least put, like, a ticket in the lottery to, like, see if you, like, actually, like, get there?
Yeah. Makes sense. Yeah.
Excellent.
So we have so many wise people already in the country.
You are like your dad.
So I just have to use that talent and that wisdom that Allah has already given you and further grow that. And get close to the religion and in the company and learn from the seerah. When you read the seerah, there's a lot of nur that comes from the seerah in your heart. And there's a lot of benefit that comes from the words of the Prophet ﷺ. And inshallah, that will help you, that will equip you, that will make you ready. And sometimes we have questions and we have gaps in our belief, in our amaliyat. So therefore, sometimes these things are automatically filled with that. And you will be a great source of a da'i living in this country in the future. Many will be guided through you if you take that work seriously and say, I need to worry about other people as well.
When I was coming to United States many, many years ago, my father asked me, he said, you going to America? I said, yes. He says, what are you going there for? I said, I want to go there for knowledge and to learn medicine and to help people. And he says, are you going to stay there? I said, most probably I will. And he says, are you going to have children? I said, yes, I will. Inshallah, if Allah wills it, I will have some children. And he said something that really scared me. And this is for the benefit of the youth and benefit of the parents of the youth. And he says, if you're going to go to America and you do not follow Islam and you go away from Islam and you do not connect yourself to the masjid and you do not connect yourself to Allah and your children go astray, which I see happening right now because I'm a pediatrician. I see every day young children, Muslim children going the other way, going into girls and drugs and hookah lounges and things like that. So he says, if your children go like that, on the day of judgment, they will come and grab your neck and say to you, we did not come here by our choice, you brought us here. And if you brought us here, why did you not protect us? By bringing us closer to Allah, because you did not get closer to Allah yourself. And my message to my brothers and sisters over here is, let's get closer to Allah, let's get closer to the masjid, let's get connected here and do the things that our children will see us do. Because there's this thing about, there was this lady with a 6-year-old girl, and the 6-year-old and the lady were reading books in the train. And this girl was very nice. She was going to everyone, talking to everyone, then go back into her book. And one of the ladies said, you know, your girl is so polite, she's so innocent, she's so nice. How did she get there? And the mother said something very profound. She said there's something that is called as copying. My child is seeing me do whatever, and then I copy So if you're going to do something that you think that your children should not do, do not do those things. And every day I advise that to my patients. I said, you know, actually it's one of the questions that is actually through American Academy of Pediatrics, and the question is your child trying to copy what you do? And she says yes. So my response to them is, you know, don't do anything that you don't want your children to copy. So my advice to everyone, including myself, is let's be connected to masjid, let's be connected to Allah, let's do the right thing, let's provide an example for our children to follow, and inshallah with Allah's mercy, and if they stay connected with the masjid and connected with Allah, they will be just fine.
One thing I want to add to that beautiful advice that you gave, with my experience of traveling, there was one imam from Morocco, may Allah help him, increase him, and take more work of khidmah, of deen, with afiyah. He was serving one community, and I will not give the details because that will pinpoint which community. So keeping it open, wonderful brother, and he was working with one community. He came there, and he saw there was a lot of intermingling, a lot of issues happening within the community. And some brothers or some elders and some seniors, pioneers of the community, they said, Imam, can you speak about the verses of Surah Al-Nisa, Surah Al-Ahzab, Surah Al-Nur, that teach us to cover ourselves and to acquire modesty, because this is the quality of a believing woman, and this is the quality of the daughters of the Prophet ﷺ, and the wives of the Prophet, and all the Ummahatul Mu'mineen, and the Nisa al-Mu'mineen. So, can we speak about this so that we can learn? Immediately after the khutbah, the imam was taken. People who are running the organization, and said there's a lot of sisters here that do not wear hijab, they don't believe in hijab. And there's a lot of sisters here who wear hijab, they believe in hijab, they practice Quran and the teachings of the Prophet ﷺ. We don't want you to speak about hijab, because then the sisters who don't do hijab, they will feel bad, and they will feel like we're not good enough, and these people think they're better than us. So just by this question, the imam was confused. The imam was like, what are you talking about? Like the way it was presented, the way it was shown to them, it was confusing. So sometimes the Quranic message is so clear, sometimes the way of the Prophet is so clear, sometimes guidance is so clear, and we see when we don't apply guidance, when we don't take the message of the Quran, how much our families, the ummah, falls in the deeper trap. And what's the effects of that? They see that. So sometimes with wisdom, with experiences, with situations that take place, it's important to take guidance. But when we, as an ummah of the Prophet ﷺ, as one body, we ourselves don't think it's important to practice the religion, it's not important to live by the usul and the fundamentals of Quran, then there's a deeper issue actually, rather than a small problem that might be coming. There's a deeper issue. It's like we don't want to, but when we have a problem, because of whatever intermingling and whatever situations are taking place, they fall into a trap. And now when they're in a trap, they don't know how to get out of it. And that's the time the imam is confronted, the imam is asked, I want you to become Superman, Batman, Spider-Man, X-Man, everything all in one in all, and figure out a solution overnight for me, because this is the problem in my house and our need is haram. We don't know what to do. We need you to fix the problem. Just hurry up and put a lid on it. So we have to move back and think, what are we doing? Are we taking the word of Allah as the word of Allah? Are we taking the life of the Prophet as the way that is going to benefit me and that is given for me, for my betterment? Or are we taking the religion and just showing that we're Muslims, we're going to do whatever we want and expect everyone else to support us and guide us and help us when we are in a problem that went against the hukum of Allah? Like, this is actually some things that are happening in different communities. So this is something that we have to think. That even in a school, There are some people that like to absorb hijab, and there's some people who don't. So the people who are, the girls are growing older, they're becoming beautiful, they're becoming attractive, and they would like to cover themselves because they always saw their mothers and the women of their family being modest, presenting themselves in a modest way. So now those children are pointed out, and those children are communicated with and say, we don't want your daughter to wear hijab when you come to our school. Instead of the opposite way, and saying we encourage this, we don't enforce it, we encourage it, rather opposite of that. And saying the ones who are doing it, we don't want them to do it, because then you're making the other ones look bad. Or the other ones are feeling like, hey, are we not good enough? Or you think you're better than us? See the point? So this is actually the Muslims' mentality. Instead of working towards guidance and hidayah, they're becoming reverse actually. So this is something very scary that ulama and imams have to see this. Like, how do we help the situation? How do we help the situation? Imam is a human being. Imam has feelings, emotions. Sometimes he's going to be upset. Sometimes he might be sad and depressed with the question. And sometimes he might be disgusted with the question. We have to have mercy also on the scholars and the imams and say, how do we make it easy for them to help us? If we make it hard for them to lead and guide us and help us, then what are we doing? Is Allah not watching us? What's our end going to be like? Who can we fool? How much are we going to run away from the truth? Eventually there's going to be a trap that you won't be able to turn back. This is something that Quranic message teaches us. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us all the ability to observe modesty in our lives as a Muslim man and a Muslim female. So now, living in a country that is not Muslim, that is not, Sharia is not followed here, simple steps are not followed here, it's our choice, freedom of religion, freedom of color, race, ethnicity, background, gender, sex, education, anything, it's a freedom. So we come here for freedom. But are we running away from the Creator? Are we running away from guidance? Are we running away from Jannah? Are we running away from the Prophet ﷺ's ta'lim? When he's standing at the door of Jannah and asking that I'm waiting for the ummati to come in. And the ummah is in adab, he goes down in sajda, he's asking, he's crying in front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And he says, Ya Muhammad, ishfa'. What is that, ishfa'? To shafa'. Intercede, your intercession will be accepted. And he crying and crying and crying for who? The ummah. That Ya Allah, they fell into the trap. They abandoned the Quran. They abandoned my way. Ya Allah, forgive them because they are my ummah. I cannot be comfortable. I cannot enjoy the bounties of Jannah that you have prepared for me when I know my ummah is suffering in the fire of Jahannam. And they are in constant adab. So he's going back in sajda and asking Allah. These are all things that were taught to the Sahaba. So these are all realities that will happen. So Muslims have to make a choice. Brother Rizwan and Brother Abdul Latif, that's, I think, the very important question as well, but at the same time, the importance of having a choice. Every human being has a choice. Do I want to do this? And then make excuses around it so that it fits me, and that's how I want to look at religion. Or do I want to do it, and I don't know, I'm zero, I don't know anything, I want Allah to tell me what to do. I want Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam to tell me what to do. And then that will be my way. That will be my life. That will be my family household. The day we realize, the day we acknowledge, I want to be a Muslim by game, not by name. That's the day Allah will open every single thing on you. The day we realize, I want to be a Muslim by game in reality. Haqa'iq. And not just by name. Oh yeah, mashallah, I'm a Muslim. Just like this person is an atheist, this person is this and that. I'm also a Muslim. But what are Muslims supposed to do? What are Muslims all about? Submitting your will, the way Sayyidina Ibrahim submitted his will. And Sayyidina Ibrahim was tested with heavy things. Not small little things like we're being tested with. The son he cried for, 8 to 10 years, 86 years of age, Allah's blessing him with a child. And at that age, Allah is asking him to sacrifice your son. Can you imagine? And the Qurbani, the sacrifice that they have done for the sake of Islam, Allah is calling all of us, Jama'at al-Muslims, we became Muslims because he truly submitted his will and he acted like a Muslim. Allah loved that so much in Ibrahim, Allah made all of us Muslims. So now we have to think, Sayyidina Ibrahim is our forefather. He's the father, every religion believes in him. The Jews, the Christians, he's the central. So we have to look up to what the teachings of Sayyidina Ibrahim and Sayyidina Ismail and our beloved Habib, blessed Mustafa sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa sallam. Uswa hasana, Allahu Akbar. Be proud to be a Muslim. Be proud, walk and talk as a Muslim. Do not shy down, walk away as a Muslim. Do everything halal in this life. Enjoy your life. Do it the right way. Do it the halal way. Don't do it the haram way. May Allah Azza wa Jal guide us all. May Allah open our eyes so we see the truth. If we don't see the truth, we cannot help ourselves. That's the reason the dua is very important. Allahumma arina al-haqqa haqqan warzuqna ittiba'a wa arina al-batila batilan warzuqna ijtinaba. Say Ameen. No questions? Ji.
You talk about there's cultural background and Islamic background. The problem that I find among youth, among friends, all my Muslim friends, that they have this huge struggle trying to find their own. The youth among all my friends, religious or not, that they're unable to find the balance between their cultural and religious aspects. And you talk about the cultural background, Islamic background, but when we're living in a society that has a complete dichotomy with the religious values that we try to uphold, how does one explore this and how does one settle on their own differences? Because I know when I was younger, many years ago, I would talk to my brother who's 10 years older than me, and during Ramadan I would, after iftar, I would talk to him and I would say, what if I don't believe in these things? What if I have doubt these things? It's not complete shirk, but there's hesitation. And so he told me that it's important to find Islam rather than be fed Islam. Now, if I do hesitate, if I do have doubts, if I do, God forbid, perform shirk, then one day, what if I reclaim Islam? Is that still full of sincerity? Does it still maintain?
There's a couple of questions. In that one question, there's a couple of questions underlying that. So lastly, because it's fresh in my mind, I'll simply answer that and then move forward. If a person is into kufr, shirk, bid'ah, namima, ghiba, any type of sin that he is in, and then he accepts Islam, he accepts to be true to Allah and the oneness of Allah, of course he's forgiven. There's never a time that Allah will not guide you and forgive you. So no matter what we come with our background, our baggage, it's never too late to recognize Allah is one, Allah is my creator, He's the most merciful, and He's accepting my du'as. The sajda that I'm doing, it's for Him. He's the one who tells me to do the sajda, He's accepting my sajda. And on the day of judgment, I will be preserved, and all of the amal, I will be given inshallah, and that will benefit me. So it's never too late, no matter what you believed in before, and no matter what wrongdoings I have done or we have done, it's a better idea, do not share with anyone. And after that, believe in Allah Azza wa Jal, every single thing from your past is forgiven. A person who is living a life of darkness, he comes into the fold of Islam, even though maybe the parents are Muslim, it's as if he took Shahada again. And the ones who take Shahada, all the mountain of sin is wiped off from them. The one who migrates for the sake of deen, the sin is wiped off. The one who performs Hajj, their sins are wiped off. And one more thing that's important, I think I understood correctly from your question. If I did not, please clarify. What's the difference, you said, in Islamic culture and the culture that we come from? Is that what you said?
No, that's not my question. I was saying there's such a complete dichotomy.
Okay.
It's very difficult among the youth to be able to find that balance and to be able to pick and choose the best of both worlds. But how do you come to that balance? How do you reclaim?
Sometimes when it's only the culture that's coming from background, there's a lot of contradiction, ikhtilafat, that comes to the religion. I see that myself in my own family. I see that many times our uncles, aunties, grandparents, the elders, they said something. And then later on I found out after studying so much and after being with scholars, after being with this and that, and I'm like, there's no basis of this. This doesn't make any sense to me. So this comes because this is culture and this is religion. Like I said before, I will reiterate, if culture is in line with religion, if culture is in line with the teachings of the Prophet, it's parallel, take that. Because that is something that they held on to, and that's benefiting them, and they're teaching that. But if something that is not against, in accordance to Islam, but rather coming from Hinduism, or rather coming from some other ism, and they think that this is a part of our background and teachings, and this is what our elders did, this is what our grandparents did, then we have to compare, is Islam matching that? What is the view or the vision in Islam as a Muslim? So the culture of Islam is the religion that we give priority to over anything else. Because the hadith of Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, as that was mentioned in the beginning, كُلُّ وَلَدٍ يُولَدُ عَلَى الْفِطْرَةِ. But Allah Azza wa Jalla made him sincere, the baby, boy and girl. Doesn't matter which color, background, ethnicity, race, and tongue the parents speak, but Allah gave him a pure, sincere, open mind and heart. And he's going to take whatever is given to him. He's going to eat whatever is fed to him. So that's the beauty of Islam, that a person has to search that. But when they come into the family, they have parents who are Muslim, that's amazing for them. But sometimes those Muslims, because they had Islam, it came through blood, through DNA, and they didn't work hard for it, like this brother worked hard. And other brothers who come into the fold of Islam. And Allah Azza wa Jalla inspires them, guides them. It's like complete darkness to light. And the value, the love that they have for the religion, Allahu Akbar. It is something that is so profound, I don't have the words to describe. Purity of intention, a'mal, ibadah, ikhlas, every single thing, because they know they saw the darkness and they're coming into light. But we're like, all life we were Muslim. Parents are Muslim, they have all types of funny things they believe and they practice, but we don't know what we're doing. That's a different thing. So make sure culture is matching the religion. If it's not, leave the culture, hold on to the religion that will benefit you in the hereafter. Jazakumullah khairan. Anyone else?
Can you give us an example of something that is cultural but it's not Islamic?
There's many things, subhanAllah.
Just one.
Someone give me a hint or...
Like boyfriend, girlfriend. This is culture here.
That's the culture. That's the culture of America. That's the Western culture. Right? Wallahu alam if that's in
But you know what? That's still a good example for people like me who were born and raised here, who are, you know, leavers of Islam, who are trying to. It's like we want to throw off, you know, Western American imperialist, whatever, all that other nonsense, and we want to embrace Islamic culture.
Another example in Pakistan.
Yes.
Women in Pakistan do not go to masajid. They pray in the house. This is not in Islam. This is culture.
Yes.
Yes.
That's a beautiful example, actually. So I have a discussion about this.
I mentioned about Sheikh. You know the way he's mentioning about the culture. He's like, you know, boyfriend and girlfriend. And I had a discussion with my kids once, you know, and I told them very clearly, I said, the thing is, it is the culture, you know, like this is the human behavior, like the friendship between a girl and a boy, you know, this is natural actually.
Of course,
this is the natural forces. It is our culture which makes everything bad actually, because in our culture, everybody promotes that, oh, you need to get doctor, you need to get engineer, and then you can get married. Build up your career first and this and that. There's so many things attached to it. Otherwise, the religion does not stop you to get married at the age of 16 or 18 actually. The religion does not stop you to interact with the women. It is us who created this problem actually. So we cannot just say that it's a religion or it's a culture. We are the one, because our religion promotes that when a boy gets mature and the girl gets matured, they can get married, but in a legal relationship.
Yes.
So the religion does not stop it. It is us or the culture which is making it looking bad.
Yes. Another very important thing underlying that, the deen, what I have learned and heard from my teachers, may Allah preserve them. The deen that comes into the family household. Sisters, please listen to this carefully with sincerity and open-mindedness. The deen that comes into the family. When I say deen, what does that mean? Deen means way of life, the way of Islam, the way Allah wants us to live, the way that the Prophet ﷺ taught us to live, the way Quran is promoting us to live, the right way to live. That is known as deen. Sometimes we hear Arabic words and we've never heard them before, and we might think, oh my God, this must be something extreme. We don't know what we're talking about. Simplify the words. The way of life of a Muslim is deen. The deen will come into the life, into the family, more through the mother, less through the father. Why? Because everyone has been given their responsibilities and their jobs and their duties. Allah Azza wa Jalla created a man differently. Allah created a woman differently. Does that mean the mom is only responsible? The father is also responsible. But because of the closeness, the muhabba, the connection, the compassion, the heart-to-heart connection that the child has, number one with the mother, the Prophet ﷺ is giving more maqam, more elevation, more status to the mother. He says there's 3 rights on the mother. Because of all of these things that she does for the child, giving delivery, breastfeeding the child, and taking care of the child, and going through pains and difficulty of 9 months. The father has nothing to do with that. but he became the father. So the difficulty, so she has al-jannatu tahta aqdam al-ummahat, or kama qala alayhi salatu wasalam. Beneath the feet of your mother lies translated. Jannah, paradise. Beneath the feet of your mother lies paradise. For all the young guys who are here right now. What does that mean? Serve them, take care of them, respect them, be there for them, be their right hand. That's the responsibility. But how could they do that when the mother was out all the time doing whatever and the child was left with a nanny? The child was abandoned. The child was just here and there. How can that child learn the basics of what I need to do? How do I grow? I was lacking the emotional contact, the emotional bond. I need the father to teach me how to live. I also need the love of the mother. Both are important in life for a man to grow and for him to face every difficulty and hardship of life. This is a beautiful connection. This is what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala placed us into this world with a mom and a dad, so we can gain and we can learn from that. Both of them are important. But the basic ta'limat, bunyadi ta'lim, right? That starts from the mother. Then it goes later on into the father as well. Inshallah.
Jazakallah khair. Thank you for coming. May Allah reward you. May Allah accept your good deed.
And we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to open our hearts to guide us in the way of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. أقول قولي هذا وأستغفر الله لي ولكم ولسائر المسلمين والمسلمات وآخر دعوانا الحمد لله رب العالمين. جزاكم الله خيرا.